Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we like to blend casual conversations with kind of insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
Right.
So this week we're diving into a bunch of stuff, from calorie tracking teens to the farewell to a very familiar video calling platform, and even AI citations gone a little rogue.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. Okay, so let's unpack all this.
Okay, so it's really amazing how technology is changing the way we live, and that even goes down to how we track our food intake now.
Right.
Did you know there's this app out there that's got like 5 million downloads?
Wow, 5 million.
Yeah, 5 million, and it was created by a couple of 18-year-olds.
Seriously.
I know, right?
That's incredible. What's it called?
It's called Cal AI.
Cal AI.
Yeah, and it's really shaking up the world of calorie tracking. What makes it so unique is its use of, large image models. You simply snap a picture of your food, and the app actually analyzes it to estimate the calories and macros.
Hold on. Large image models.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty techy.
Yeah.
Can you break that down a little for me?
Oh, yeah, sure. So imagine like a super smart computer program. One that's been trained on millions of food images.
Okay.
And it learns to recognize patterns and identify different foods just like our brains do.
Right.
So when you take a picture with Cal AI, it's using these models to figure out, what's on your plate and how many calories it contains.
So it's like having a personal nutritionist in your pocket.
Yeah.
But way cooler and definitely less judgmental.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, it's a great example of how AI is making our lives a lot easier and, just more convenient. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Different models are actually better at recognizing different types of food.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Like one model might be great at recognizing pizza, but struggle with like sushi or something?
Exactly.
Right.
It all depends on the data they were trained on. Think about it. A model that was trained primarily on Western cuisine might have a harder time identifying a plate of sushi than one that was trained on, Japanese dishes.
That makes sense. It's like learning a new language.
Right.
You need to be exposed to the right vocabulary, but it definitely makes you wonder about the accuracy and, potential limitations of these models.
Absolutely. It's always good to be mindful of those things. And speaking of limitations, remember Skype?
Skype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it's time to say goodbye. Microsoft is officially sunsetting the platform on May 5th.
Oh, Skype. I used to spend hours on there back in the day. It's like saying goodbye to an old friend, but honestly, I haven't used it in ages.
I know, me too.
So what are the alternatives?
Well, Microsoft is pushing users towards Teams,
Right.
which makes sense from their perspective. And
Yeah.
of course, there's the ever-present Zoom.
Right.
But interestingly enough, the TechCrunch article also mentioned Signal as an option.
Signal.
Yeah,
Really, isn't that more known for its focus on like privacy and encrypted messaging?
it is. But it also offers video calling features. And with growing concerns about privacy, it might be an appealing alternative for some users.
It's fascinating to see how the landscape of communication tools is, constantly shifting.
It is.
Speaking of shifting landscapes, have you heard about this whole issue with AI citations going haywire?
Oh, yes. The AI citation chaos.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a can of worms, to say the least.
Right.
A study by the Columbia Journalism Review tested 8 popular AI search engines.
8.
And the results were pretty alarming. Over 60% of the answers provided were incorrect, and some tools even fabricated links to non-existent sources.
Wait, so you're telling me that these AI tools are just making stuff up and presenting it as fact?
That's essentially what's happening. And what's even more worrisome is they often present this fabricated information with an air of confidence, making it seem very credible.
Right.
Imagine relying on an AI search engine for research,
Oh, yeah.
only to find out later that the study you cited doesn't even exist.
That's scary.
I know.
It's like building a house on a foundation of sand. Why is this happening? Are these AI tools like deliberately trying to mislead people?
It's not necessarily intentional deception.
Right.
These AI models are incredibly complex,
Right.
and even their creators don't fully understand how they work.
Wow.
The issue likely stems from the vast amounts of data they're trained on, which includes a lot of misinformation and unreliable sources.
So it's like they're regurgitating information without really understanding it.
Yes,
Like a student cramming for an exam but not actually grasping the concepts.
that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it highlights the importance of critical thinking even when using seemingly sophisticated AI tools.
Right.
We can't blindly trust the information they provide. We need to verify it through traditional methods.
You're right. It's a good reminder to always double-check your sources, especially in the age of AI. So what should our listener do to avoid falling into this AI citation trap?
It's simple. Don't solely rely on AI-generated citations.
Okay.
Always verify the information, double-check the links, and use your critical thinking skills.
Yeah. A healthy dose of skepticism can go a long way in navigating the world of AI.
Right.
Yeah,
I like that.
you got it.
A healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah.
All right, so we've talked about calorie-counting teens,
Yes.
the farewell to Skype,
Yeah.
and AI citations going rogue. What else is going on in the wild world of tech?
Well, there's a lot more. Let's dive in a little deeper.
Right, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, it's like anything new, really. You have to learn to use it responsibly and understand its limitations. But even with those limitations, AI is attracting a lot of attention, particularly in the world of acquisitions.
Acquisitions, you mean like companies buying other companies? What's happening there?
You know, the tech world's always in motion, right?
Yeah.
And lately, there's been a real frenzy of activity, especially around AI, for example. Niantic, the company behind the wildly popular Pokemon Go,
Right.
they just sold their gaming division for a whopping $3.5 billion.
Wow, $3.5 billion. That's a lot of Pokecoins. But why would they sell off such a successful part of their business?
Yeah, it seems like they're shifting gears now.
Okay.
Niantic is focusing on building real-world 3D maps, which is pretty interesting when you think about it. It's like they're taking the technology behind Pokemon Go and applying it to create a whole new way to experience the world around us.
Yeah, that sounds really ambitious. So they're moving from catching Pokemon to mapping reality. What other acquisitions are happening in the AI space?
Well, AI agent startups are hot commodities right now.
Okay.
MoveWorks was acquired by ServiceNow, and Peak was scooped up by UiPath. It seems like everyone is recognizing the potential of AI to automate tasks and streamline processes.
It makes sense. AI is like having a super efficient assistant that can handle all the tedious stuff, freeing us up to focus on more creative and strategic work. But not every company is jumping on the acquisition bandwagon. There's this Chinese AI company called DeepSeek that's actually turning down venture capital funding.
Despite a lot of interest.
Really, that's intriguing.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder why they would pass up on such a lucrative opportunity.
Right. Maybe they're confident in their ability to grow organically, or perhaps they're wary of giving up too much control to outside investors. It's a bold move, that's for sure.
It's refreshing to see a company prioritizing its own vision over the pressure to chase quick profits. Speaking of bold moves, OpenAI and Google are making a pretty big request. They're asking the Trump administration to classify AI training as fair use.
Ah, yes, the fair use debate. It's a complex issue with far-reaching implications, essentially. OpenAI and Google are arguing that they need to be able to use copyrighted material to train their AI models without facing those hefty licensing fees.
So they want to use all the information on the internet to teach their AI,
Yeah.
but without paying for it. That sounds like a tough sell.
It is. Copyright holders argue that their intellectual property is being exploited, but OpenAI and Google counter that without fair use. The cost of licensing all that data would be astronomical, putting them at a major disadvantage in the global AI race, especially against China.
It's a classic battle between innovation and intellectual property rights. I wonder how the Supreme Court will rule on this.
It's hard to say, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. It could have a major impact on the future of AI development.
Speaking of the future of AI, SXSW was buzzing with all sorts of cool and quirky tech developments. Did you see that TechCrunch article about it?
I did. I loved the bit about the Waymo taxis racking up almost $65,000 in parking tickets in San Francisco. It seems even self-driving cars can't escape the perils of city parking.
That's hilarious. It reminds us that even the most advanced technology isn't always perfect. I also found it interesting that the CEO of Bluesky was sporting a T-shirt with this cryptic message that seemed to be a jab at Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, the drama of the tech world. It's like a never-ending soap opera. But beyond the gossip, SXSW always provides a glimpse into the future of technology, from the practical to the downright bizarre.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Red Power Bikes was there. And they've got a new CEO, Kathy Lynch, who's leading the company as they kind of shift away from a direct-to-consumer model and focus more on retail partnerships.
It's an interesting strategy. It seems like they're adapting to the changing retail landscape and recognizing the value of partnering with established retailers.
It shows that even successful companies need to be flexible and willing to change with the times.
And speaking of change, TikTok is still facing a potential sale to a U.S. company, with Oracle now emerging as a possible buyer.
It's like a high-stakes game of musical chairs. with the fate of a global social media platform hanging in the balance.
The stakes are high indeed. It raises important questions about data privacy, national security, and the global influence of tech companies.
On a slightly lighter note, have you tried that new Gmail feature that lets you add events to your Google Calendar directly from an email?
I haven't yet, but it sounds like a time saver. I'm all for anything that makes managing my schedule a little bit easier.
Me too. And speaking of Google, Meta is rolling out its Community Notes feature in the United States in an effort to improve fact-checking on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads.
That's a welcome move. In a world saturated with information, it's crucial to have reliable fact-checking mechanisms to help us separate truth from fiction.
It all circles back to the importance of critical thinking, especially when we're bombarded with information from so many sources.
Absolutely. And that includes being mindful of the potential pitfalls of AI-generated content, like those dodgy citations we were talking about earlier.
Right. It's like a constant reminder that we need to engage our brains even when technology seems to be doing the thinking for us.
Well said. And speaking of engaging our brains, have you heard about Brian Johnson and his ambitious phootome sequencing project?
Phootome sequencing, that sounds intriguing. What's that all about? It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It kind of is. Johnson, who's, a big name in the Don't Die movement, wants to create this giant public database where people can chip in to have different foods and brands tested for toxins.
So it's like a crowdsourced toxin testing operation for our food.
Exactly. Imagine checking the foodome score of your favorite cereal or, that protein bar you love.
Right.
Could be pretty eye-opening.
It definitely raises questions about transparency and, how much we really know about what we're eating on a slightly less existential note. Did you hear about that Waymo situation in San Francisco?
Oh, you mean those self-driving cars racking up almost $65,000 in parking tickets?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems even robots can't navigate the complexities of city parking.
It's kind of funny, but it also shows how real-world implementation of new tech, you know, always comes with these unexpected hiccups.
Absolutely. Speaking of AI and unexpected developments, Sesame, the company behind that incredibly realistic voice assistant, Maya, just made a big move.
Wait, Maya, the one that sounds so human, it's almost creepy. What did they do?
They released the base model for Maya as open source.
Wow.
This means developers can now play around with it, build upon it, and potentially create all sorts of new applications. It's a huge step in making advanced voice AI more accessible.
That's really cool. It'll be interesting to see what people come up with. Meanwhile, OpenAI is stirring up controversy with its new creative writing AI.
Yes, the AI poet. It can churn out metafiction like nobody's business. But critics argue that it lacks true emotion and originality.
So it can mimic the form of creative writing, but not the heart of it.
Exactly. It highlights the ongoing debate about whether AI can truly be creative or if it's just a sophisticated mimic.
It's like the difference between someone who can play all the right notes on a piano versus someone who can actually pour their soul into the music.
A perfect analogy, but while some AI is busy writing poetry, others are busy tracking our every move, or at least the objects that catch their digital eyes.
Now that sounds a bit ominous. What do you mean?
There's this company called REIC Labs that developed a tool that can instantly find and continuously track objects across video images and even geospatial data. It's like having a super-powered search engine for the visual world.
Wow, the potential applications are mind-boggling, from security and surveillance to medical imaging and environmental monitoring. It seems like the possibilities are endless.
But of course, with such powerful tools comes great responsibility. There's been a lot of talk lately about AI agents and their potential impact on various industries.
AI agents? That sounds like something out of a spy movie.
Right. TechCrunch actually did a deep dive on this topic and found that even within the tech world, there's a lot of confusion about what an AI agent is and what it can actually do. It's a rapidly evolving field, and the hype sometimes outpaces the reality.
It's a good reminder that we're still in the early stages of understanding and harnessing the full potential of AI.
Exactly. There's a lot of experimentation going on, and inevitably there will be bumps along the way. Remember that Disney worker who accidentally downloaded malware while playing around with AI and ended up losing his job?
Ouch, that's a cautionary tale if I've ever heard one.
It is. It underscores the importance of cybersecurity awareness and responsible use of technology, even when it seems harmless.
Well, this deep dive has certainly taken us on a whirlwind tour of the tech world. From calorie tracking apps to AI-powered voice assistants, from the excitement of SXSW to the ethical dilemmas of AI training data.
It's been a fascinating journey, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We've explored the highs and lows, the breakthroughs and the blunders, all while trying to make sense of this ever-changing landscape.
And hopefully our listener has gained some valuable insights and maybe even a few laughs along the way.
I certainly hope so. Thanks for joining us on this bite-sized tech deep dive.
It's been a pleasure sharing these tech tidbits with you.
If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions. Thanks for tuning into Bite-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.